Now, the difference in news and information. This is today's THV This Morning at 9.
Hello, good morning to you here on this Friday. I'm Ashley Blackstone alongside Meredith Mitchell, and thank you so much for waking up with us on this Friday, once again, January the 6th. Go Hogs, right? Cotton Bowl Day.
Well, we are going to be talking about in our week of Around the World here on today's THV This Morning at 9. We're talking with Chef Cynthia Malik, and she's with Pulaski Tech Culinary School, and she's here with us every Friday, and we're making stir fry.
We are making stir fry. We're going to make pork stir fry today, but this can be easily converted into beef stir fry or fish stir fry or chicken stir fry or vegetable stir fry.
And you can kind of use whatever vegetables that you like, right?
That's exactly what I do. There's a recipe on the website,
okay,
but you can substitute here and there for what you have in the refrigerator or what you see in the grocery store.
Sounds pretty healthy.
It is very healthy. And the garlic, ginger, and scallion that we use, as soon as that hits the pan, the kids come out of the rooms. Ooh, what's for dinner?
What are you cooking?
It smells so good.
Sounds like a great family meal too.
It's a wonderful
for the kids.
family meal, yeah. And I'm using brown rice today.
Okay.
But you know, you can use white if you want.
All right.
It's healthier with brown.
Well, we'll talk more about that, and hopefully maybe an idea for something for the weekends.
Yeah. Something. It smells fabulous out there this morning.
It sure does. And Cynthia, you were saying that whenever the kids smell the ginger and what all goes into the stir fry, they come out of their rooms.
They do. I mean, it's so aromatic and it just makes your mouth water. The good news is they don't have to wait very long after that. So that's their cue to wash their hands and set the table and all that stuff.
So it's a quick, easy meal.
It is. And because I was setting up for today, it felt kind of cumbersome. But normally I would just chop all the vegetables and throw them in a bowl. The first thing I do is slice some meat. So we have pork tenderloin or pork loin.
Okay.
I buy the really big ones from the grocery store.
Okay.
It's cheaper that way. And then I cut them into portions and freeze them. So about a fourth of a whole loin would be fine. This is plenty for 2 people. I cut the recipe back just a little bit. So it's been marinating for about 30 minutes. So you do that first. In 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, and a little bit of dried ginger, and just stir it up really well.
Okay.
And then let it marinate, and you can start chopping all your vegetables, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes. You want a nice hot skillet. Now this does get you know, a little messy, so be prepared to, you know, wipe down all the grease splatter and all that good stuff.
And I was asking you, I said, do you need a wok for this? And you were explaining to me that a skillet has more of a surface area that's heated.
Right. Now, unless you have gas and you have, I think there's some, you know, things that you can do to spread that heat around with gas, but with an electric, you know, burner like I have, you only have a little bit of surface area. So
right.
I like this because I can fit all my vegetables in here later. I tend to go crazy with the vegetables.
Well,
so
good.
We'll let this brown up,
okay,
and it gets kind of, that cornstarch helps it get kind of that nice brown crust.
Okay, so that's
seared.
kind of the secret for that.
And so we're going to cook that until it's done. We'll turn it over here in a few minutes, and then I'm going to set it to the side.
Okay.
And when we come back, we'll start on our vegetables.
All right, sounds great, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But after the break, a look at your weekend weather forecast and what Hog fans can expect there in Dallas. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
And bon appetit here on this Friday morning. We are back with Cynthia from Pulaski Tech. She is a chef there, joining us every Friday. And today we're cooking up some stir fries. So thank you so much for being here. You got lots of ingredients out already.
I do.
Get us started.
And you know, on the recipe, I think it calls for squash and zucchini. And if I'm going to the grocery store and I know I'm going to make stir fry, I'll buy some specific ingredients. I'll be looking for some certain things. But for the most part, we try to keep vegetables in the refrigerator. So, you know, normally I have what I need to make this. Now, if you don't have time to cut all these vegetables, you can purchase the frozen bag, and that's just fine. Steam it for maybe a minute and a half, get it unfrozen, and strain some of that water out. Before you move on to these next steps.
Because it does take a little bit of prep time to get the vegetables all cut up and ready to go.
It does, and I'm pretty quick with it just because I've been trained.
Yes, you are. You're very impressive.
But I do revert to the you know, the frozen bag. So we finished browning our pork and we've set that to the side.
Okay.
Now there's this wonderful this is called fond. These wonderful, pieces of meat that are stuck at the bottom of the pan. That's love. That's flavor right there. So
Okay,
we're not
so
going to
we
get
wanna
rid of
leave
it.
that there.
It's going to come off the pan as we go.
And help our veggies
And
out.
help our veggies out a little bit. We're just using just a little bit of oil. You can use a peanut oil. I would not use an olive oil for this just because the flavor doesn't work for me.
Okay.
And then basically I've got cremini mushrooms, and you can just put all of this in the pan.
All of it?
All
We're
of
gonna
it.
do
Yep. We can do
everything.
celery. We've got broccoli, and I do use the stems.
Okay.
I'm hearing some sizzle. Do you hear that? That's
I
what
do
we want
hear the
here.
sizzle. Let me
And
get some
then
carrots as well.
I had several peppers left over from last week when we did the poppers. So I used those beautiful peppers, and we got red onion. Okay,
We're good to
and
go.
then we have bok choy. Now this is a cabbage. So you have the bottom part here.
She said it's pretty
It's
crispy.
crispy. I couldn't find any fresh bean sprouts. I don't like the canned because they're full of sodium. And so we do that. And then some of the leaves. This is really good for you, like any other cabbage. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. Do you want to stir this up for us?
Sure.
Now, do you use kosher salt?
I use kosher salt.
Okay.
You can use iodized salt if you have it. So whatever your preference is.
Okay.
And then, this is stirring up real nice. Basically, you have, the carrot, celery, and onion in French cookery are the aromatics that we use a lot.
Okay.
It's called mirepoix. In this Asian cookery, we use garlic, ginger, and scallion.
Okay.
And as my Asian chef would say, you put it in there and you cook it until aroma, so you can really start smelling it. And you can do as little or as much as you like. But for this, I like to do the fresh, but you can use a powdered ginger if you want. And of course, you can buy the garlic already minced. Fresh is always better. Okay?
How long are we going to let this cook for?
We're going to let it
Cynthia?
cook, for just a little while. You don't want your stir-fry vegetables to be mushy
No.
at all.
So what's our temperature normally set at?
Medium high for this. And I like to use a bigger skillet. If you use a small skillet, it is going to steam.
Okay, it might take a little longer as well.
It might take a little bit longer. All right, so now what I have here, we have, this mixture is the sauce. So it's chicken stock oyster sauce.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which is a little expensive, but you don't use much of it. So, you'll buy a bottle and have it in the refrigerator for 6 months or so. So it's oyster sauce, chicken stock, and soy sauce.
Oh, okay.
And that's it. And then we're going to pour this in here.
Okay.
And then kind of scrape the bottom of the pan just a little bit as you're doing that.
Okay.
And you see how all
I love that
that's
sound.
coming up
I
off the
know.
bottom of the pan?
Yes.
You see that?
And that's the flavor that we want,
That
right?
is our flavor. That's my favorite part. So we are deglazing the pan.
Okay.
Okay. Hand me that pork, pork we're using
There you
today.
go.
Thank you so much. Now, make me a little hole there.
In the middle?
So push all the veggies to the side.
All right.
I have a little bit more chicken stock and some cornstarch. This is going to thicken it up, and we're going to stir. Okay, and that's going to thicken that sauce right up.
Stir it together or just here in the middle?
Yep, it's just in the middle for a moment.
There we go.
Okay, and then you can stir it all together, and I'm going to put the pork in there while you do that. And then what we're going to do is add our water chestnuts and our baby corn.
Kids like this?
Kids love this.
They do.
I've done this with teenagers. They love to cook it. So,
Man, it's pretty simple too. Besides the
We
prep
just made
work
a
with the
whole
vegetables.
meal in 4 minutes.
live. This is nothing was pre-cooked or anything. The only thing I pre-cooked was the rice.
Okay.
For obvious reasons.
Can feed a family of 4, would you say?
This will feed a family of 4. I usually make a lot because they love it, and I love leftovers.
Yeah, me too.
All right, we will be back to let you know how it is and try it. 9:21. Stay with us.
Okay, we can put this down here. I've got some.
And the folks are rising for another day, round about their home. The people of the town are strange, and the proud of where they
And here is the finished product. It is fabulous. You did a great job. We've been trying it during
You
a break.
did a great job. You cooked that.
I love it. It's so
You sure
good.
did, Ashley.
Hey,
That's
all right,
great.
now back to this morning. If you missed any of the steps, we've got all the information posted on our website at todaysthb.com. Just look under the Today's THB this morning 9 o'clock section and then choose recipes. You can find it there. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for
This is
having me and
pretty
helping out.
Affordable.
Oh,
as well.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I couldn't tell you exactly how much it costs, but like I said, I mean, you buy a big bag bag of carrots, you buy the celery. You know, this was 1 carrot, 1 stalk of celery, a little bit of broccoli. So these are things that, you know, you would probably already have. It's really not that expensive at all.
And you said you make a big batch of it because
Yes.
Leftovers are always great.
Absolutely. I would double this recipe for my family.
Okay.
So, but this would feed 4 moderately.
If you're working on your portion control.
Right, exactly.
Okay, real quickly, your forecast today, a beautiful Friday ahead of us, and then a little bit cooler and a slight chance of rain by the weekend. And that'll do it for us. We'll be back here today at noon. Until then, remember the news is always on at today'sthv.com.